Alright, this video is going to be an actual practice session on the bike stand doing these 10 techniques that you can do on the bike stand. And if you haven't watched the first video on how to do the techniques on the bike stand, you need to make sure you watch that and practice that so you're doing the technique correctly, because when you get to this video you want to be able to do them correctly. Now you're going to do them through repetition a little bit faster. So let's start off with three-step braking technique, and we'll just go through. I'll just kind of rotate through a lot of these techniques, these 10 techniques, as we go along, and you can follow me through as I explain them. Which is a three-step braking technique: gripping the bike with your knees, how to hold the handlebars, positioning for your hands, start all that up, using the clutch. So let's keep it working. Back and forth, feeling the rowing action, not using the shifter or brake so I'm on the balls of my feet. Letting the knees slide along the sides of the bike. Keeping my weight as far off the handlebars as I can. Weight low. Let's get back to the balls of the feet. Let's do some calf raises. Low all the way down, all the way up, as far as you can go. Calves have to be supporting your weight, because if you're on the balls of your feet, you can't just let your ankles totally relax. Look how far down my heels will go. If you're in a deep rut, your heel will catch the rut and it'll yank your foot off the peg. And if you're going not even very fast, you could be in second gear, and it will rip one of your feet off the pegs because you're going forward. That's probably going to take this foot back out here. I've crashed like that a lot of times. All riders have, because your foot goes back, you get off this side of the bike and you can't get control and you crash. So don't let your heels drop way down just because you're on the balls of your feet. Remember, here you got that ankle movement here for suspension. It's going to take a lot of stress off your knees, hips, and back on the compressions. So get used to being on the balls of your feet. Let's jump around a little bit. Arches. Notice how far your toes have to be out when you're on the arches so you don't hit the shifter or brake by accident. Back on the balls. Up on the arches. Check yourself. Get that feeling. You should feel it. Like if you jump back to the balls of your feet and you've gone back too far, you can feel that right away. Get it back up to where it's supposed to be. Jump around there. Again, when you're on the arches of your feet, your toes are going to have to rotate out just a little bit. So when you move forward, you don't hit the shifter or brake by accident. So check yourself on that. Make sure when you're on the arches of your feet, your toes are out far enough. But at the same time, don't have your foot out on the end of the foot peg either. You can be in as close as you can to the bike and still miss the shifter or brake. Back to the arches. Let's work that clutch standing up while we're doing that. Bouncing back and forth. Get in that attack position. Butt sticking out, straight back. Back and forth while we're working the clutch. That finger going on that clutch. All right, now we're in the overgrip position. We're using the front brake and throttle. Feel it, just use that throttle a little bit with that front brake while you're practicing balls and arches. Back and forth, using the clutch. Using the front brake, using the throttle. All right, let's try brake in position again with the hands on the front brake. Now, over grip, open throttle. As you shut the throttle off, put that finger on the front brake. Open throttle, finger comes off the front brake. Off the throttle, finger goes on the front brake. And then over grip. Braking, over grip. Open throttle. Got a hold of the throttle. Close the throttle, pop the finger out, comes on the front brake right away. Now, over grip, open throttle, off the throttle. And then you can reset. Anytime you got to reset your hand position, you got to feel that, you know. If you're over grip, on the throttle hard, as you go off the throttle, you got to adjust that hand grip. And you could feel that. You know, if you're braking and your hand is over too far, you're going to feel that right away. So you just got to adjust it if that happens. But that's something you got to practice and get good at. So from these videos, you should be able to do that. Work it. Okay, so let's do some of those transitions. Going from braking, finish your braking, accelerate out of the corner. Okay, so say you're sitting down, you're braking, fingers on the front brake, foot's up on the back brake, got your finger on the clutch, braking, and then you're going to get off the brakes and hit the transition. That's where you want to slip off of the front brake, and you already have the over grip, and move forward. And when you move forward, push down on your foot pegs or foot peg. If you have a foot out for the corner, it's going to have to be a foot peg at the transition. So you're braking, your body weight's back a little bit, and then as you get off the brakes, you move forward, slip your finger off the front brake, open the throttle. Going through that braking transition. Now the accelerating transition, okay, you're on the gas, you're accelerating, and as you shut off the gas, you're up into that number one 3-step braking technique, and then hitting the downshift too with your other foot. So here it is, accelerating, bam, up into the braking technique. Number one, go into sitting, accelerating. So as soon as the gas goes off, bam, up into that braking technique. That's it right there. It's on the gas, pop off the gas into the braking technique. So here's what it looks like going slow. Okay, on the gas, off the gas, into the braking technique. Transition going from accelerating to braking. And even if you were standing up, it's going to be even easier. Accelerating to braking. Accelerating to braking. As soon as the gas goes off, brakes come on. And then as you're through the corner, you're braking, 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 off, forward. Braking, 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 controlling the brakes. Transition, forward. Braking, transition. So those are your two transitions. You want to make sure you're doing those right. Get a lot of practice in on those. And then I'm going to have to get my bike off stand to show you the other side for the shifting and the side-to-side movement. Got to have your bike off the stand for those. Okay, I turn my bike around so you can see my shifter. We'll work on some shifting techniques now. If you're standing up, you got a finger on the clutch, say you're accelerating and you need another gear, well, you're going to get your foot ready, nip that clutch and upshift. Nip that clutch and upshift. Get under that, make sure you get under the shifter and then yank it up while you nip the clutch. Back down. If you're sitting down, you know, it's the same thing, but you can make your leg go out to the side, your knee out to the side, and by turning your ankle up like that, it yanks up on the shifter pretty hard. So as you hit up the upshift, nip the clutch, nip the clutch, nip the clutch, nip the clutch. Or you can do it by lifting your foot up, lifting up off the foot peg. Nip the clutch each time. Okay, sitting down, standing up. Say you're on the balls of your feet, fingers on the clutch, you need that shift. Balls of your feet, got finger on the clutch, get that shift. Get that shift. Get that shift. Nice and quick. Whoa. It's automatic reaction. You know you need that gear, bam, there it is. You don't have to think about it. It's just a reaction. Foot gets under it and shifts it. Sitting down, same thing. Accelerating. And there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, got it back in neutral. Now you see, from neutral, well, it doesn't shift good when the engine's not running and the wheel's not turning. So you're not actually shifting gears, but you know, you're getting the idea of if you hit the shifter that hard, it's going to shift it. That'll work your leg right in there. Doing a lot of them. Standing up. Standing up. Bam, 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 you know, hitting the bumps. Working it, bam, there's that shift. You see in some of the videos, you shift in the air, you hit a jump, whether you're sitting or standing. You're usually standing, you're in the air, you need another gear while you're in the air. Hit the gear in the air. So when you land, you're already in that taller gear that you needed. So shifting is important. I mean, anybody that can ride a motorcycle can shift gears, of course. But we're talking split-second timing, effortless shifting whenever you have to. It's a different story. So make sure you're good at hitting your shifts wherever you are on the bike. All right, I want to cover the side-to-side movement. That's the one where we have to have the bike on the ground. So I'll just turn that real quick here. And get some of that going on. Want that high, usually that high position that you're going to be in, so the elbows are up, and just shake that bike side to side. Work it. See what that feels like. Now you shouldn't have to support your weight in the handlebars while you're doing it, you know. You have to be on the ground though, so your feet are touching. Because if you do this on the bike stand, you can't really do it effectively without falling off the stand. So yeah, just get it and work it by keeping your hands light on the bars and moving your body side to side, parallel across the handlebars with the shoulders. And of course the bike's moving too. You can have one foot up, doing it more to this side. Doing it more to this side. And you know what you should do in all these workouts on the stand, or this one, is have somebody videotaping you with the phone or whatever, side views, front views, and see if you're really looking what you think you're looking like with your technique. I know most guys think they're looking a certain way and they're not really, so that would be a good way to do it too. Now you can just, while you're here, you can do a little example of, we had our arms up nice, put them down to your side with low grip and try to rotate back and forth. And you can tell right away that you don't have any leverage there. It's not going to work too good. Hold the front brake, go back and forth real hard too. Compare it with up. It's just so much easier. And that multiplies even more when you're standing up, because that leverage becomes even more important.